What if the reason you keep losing the same battle isn't because you're weak? What if it's simply because you are fighting the wrong battle? Because when most of us think about temptation, we think about discipline. We think that we need more self-control or more rules and accountability or simply more willpower. But when you think about life and the life that Jesus had in comparison, that's not actually what you will begin to see. See, Jesus didn't live a life of temptation. In fact, he was hungry, he was tired, and he was under a lot of pressure all the time. But yet, every single time that temptation showed up, he responded in a way that feels completely different than the advice that we're usually given today. After studying some of the moments where Jesus was tempted, I noticed something interesting. He wasn't obsessing over the temptation itself. He was focused more on something different: his identity, his truth, God's will, and his mission here on earth. And because those things were settled, temptation lost every single ounce of leverage when it came to him. I want to share with you things Jesus seemed to understand about temptation that most of us completely miss. And the first one has everything to do with our identity, but probably not in the way that you've heard of before. See, people tend to struggle with a habit. I myself am one of those people, but probably not in the way that you've heard before. When people struggle with a habit, addiction, or just a reoccurring temptation, they usually focus on the behavior, like you overspend or you overeat, or you just constantly have to pick up your phone and doom scroll. Or you simply just keep going back to the same type of relationships, knowing good and well that you shouldn't, or whatever it is that it could be. So then the behavior becomes the enemy. But when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness and Satan kept coming to him constantly, trying to attack him and put pressure on him to give up and stop, saying, I'll give you whatever it is that you want. I'll make you more powerful. Notice that it wasn't his habits. It wasn't his behavior. It was his identity. Over and over again, the temptation started with the same phrase: if you're the Son of God. Because Satan wasn't just offering Jesus bread and power or recognition. He was challenging Jesus to believe who he actually was. And I think the same thing happens to us. For a lot of us, temptations aren't really about the thing itself. A lot of times what it is that it's more about what we're trying to get from it. Whether it's security or validation, comfort, a level of love, or just sometimes it's as simple as approval or self-worth. And when those needs don't feel secure, temptation will suddenly become a lot more persuasive to us. Think about it. If you don't feel as though you are loved, then you are going to spend your entire life trying to prove it. If you don't feel as though you are valuable, you are going to constantly be seeking validation. And if you don't believe God will provide for you, fear is going to always push you into all types of decisions that you wouldn't typically make. So I had to realize that what made Jesus different wasn't that he wanted less. It was that he already knew what belonged to him. He knew who he was. He knew whose he was. And because of that, temptation couldn't convince him that he needed to grasp for something else. And because of that, temptation couldn't convince him that he needed to grab for something that already was secure within him. And I think that's a question worth asking ourselves. Not what temptation am I fighting, but what is this temptation promising me? What am I getting out of this? Because sometimes the battle isn't about the behavior. A lot of times it's about the belief within it.